Hello, I am Bernie, and this is my powerful speech. Okay, it's titled "Should We Teach Children Philosophy History?" To start off, what would you do if you spoiled Christmas to your little siblings? This almost happened to me a few years ago. In my last senior year of high school, I was beginning to take philosophy, a class that I really began to love more and more the more I took it. One time we were seeing the ethics of lying to children about Santa Claus. And yes, we were discussing when did we discover that Santa wasn't real. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would love for you to think about when you discovered that Santa wasn't real. Yeah, now keep that in mind. As you would imagine, I loved this class and I was participating in it a lot, more than other classes. So I went ahead and thought of when I discovered that Santa wasn't real. And I was participating, I was telling this story with every single nuance about it, when my peripheral vision reminded me that my little sister, which was 8 years old at the time, Adriana, was sitting right next to me taking her classes. Now, I stopped that moment and I was very shook about everything that was happening. So I just stopped talking and I realized, well, I can just leave everyone on a cliffhanger. At least I have to tell them an explanation. And so I told him via the Zoom chat that, sorry, I couldn't finish the story because my little 8-year-old sister is right here next to me and I didn't realize, sorry. Yeah, I know it's really funny, but it's just in the past. I really hope that she didn't hear me, or at least that she still believes in Santa. And I believe that she still does, because otherwise I think we would have already had that conversation with her. Anyways, that funny story made me think about whether we should teach kids philosophy. Would that impact their innocence? And yeah, should we teach kids philosophy? So my first thought was, no, definitely no, we shouldn't. Because to begin with, kids don't have the cognitive ability, which is, well, the ability to think about thinking, to think philosophically. They don't have that cognitive ability. They're developing their cognitive ability, yes, but it's logical that since you're just learning to think, you wouldn't be able to think about thinking, right? So if you know what cognitive development is, that's great, congratulations. But if you don't worry. I have the definition right here. This is a definition that was brought to us by Help Me Grow, which is just a web page that helps people with parenting. And it describes cognitive development as how children think, explore, and figure things out. Isn't that a great explanation? Well, yes, if children don't know this, well, how are they gonna think philosophically? And my other thought was, well, what if we go into the more hardcore stuff of philosophy? You know, the more, how do we explain that things are real? How do we know that what we know is completely true, or things like that? For example, René Descartes, cogito ergo sum. And I figured, well, if you ask this type of questions to a child, they would probably be confused. And if they search for the answer, they will probably lose their innocence and become more opaque. Now, that is why I thought that we shouldn't teach children philosophy. And to be honest, I really didn't think a lot of it. But recently, I did a little research and I found this great paper about actually this thing, right? I found a paper from Stanford University that was discussing about whether we should or we shouldn't teach kids philosophy. And it was really interesting, but it was 6,000 words. Well, actually more than 6,000 words, but yeah, you get me. It's a lot. It was really interesting though. And from that whole paper, well, I didn't read it all, but from most of it, I got that children are curious by nature, which means that they like to learn, they like to find out things, find out thoughts, find out by asking questions. And maybe you don't own a child or a toddler, well, not own, but you don't have a toddler or a child, but you've all been one. So I'm gonna have this example. You probably all remember asking your parents once, at least once, why? Now, what do I mean by this? Let's set this acting thing. Okay, I'm gonna be the child and the parents, right? Mommy, why is the table white? Well, it's white because that's the color of the paint that it was painted with. Why? Well, I don't know, because whoever did the table choose white as the color of the table, right? I know, I don't know. Huh. Why? Well, I don't know. Maybe because white is like a pure color and, you know, clean color, I guess. Yeah, like probably because white is a really good color and, you know, it's good. Okay, well, but why? And you could imagine how long this goes until the parent just goes, okay, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't make the table. I don't know. Why is it white? Okay, I'm sorry. I just can't answer your questions. Okay, sorry. And yeah, you can imagine that happening to you or happening to your little siblings. And because of this, we can conclude that, well, children are curious by nature. But there's also a lot more examples in an article made by Matthews in 1998. It's called Philosophy and the Young Child, where he records conversations between children and their caretakers or parents, and actually just made them like quotes and discusses what the meaning of those quotes or like the transcendence of those conversations have on the children. Here, for example, it says, when discussing the fuss that people make about getting up early and things, said Dennis, which is a 6-year-old, with his characteristically slow speech but penetrating throughout, he said, early and late are not things. They are not things like tables and chairs or cups. They're not things that you can model. And if you think about it, well, it's true. Like being late or being early are not tangible things, which means that, well, I don't know, but a children said it. So that means that children can philosophize and they can think really deeply, even if they're not trying to. This is just an example, but there are many, many more in this, this article made by Matthews. So my final argument is that philosophizing and providing a safe space for children makes them wiser, knowledgeable, and more aware, not opaque, being the contrary of innocent, but rather being the contrary of naive, the opposite of naive. Yeah, and I think we should definitely teach kids about philosophy. This is a quote about Fraser Dogan's TED Talk, Teach Kids Philosophy, which is great, by the way. I hope that you have time to see it. It was a great inspiration to me. But anyways, here's the quote. Providing a safe place in schools allows young people to express their views no matter how young they are. It is fundamentally important, and we should allow them to explore their minds. And yes, it's true, we should allow children to have a safe place to discuss ideas and learn if they're right, learn if they're wrong, and pretty much philosophize with children and teachers. So in conclusion, should we teach kids the history of philosophy? Yes, definitely. Most definitely we should, because this will provide greater cognitive development, and it will make children think more critically and develop also communication skills by discussing these ideas with more children and maybe their parents. Lastly, I would like to leave you with a bit of inspiration that I took from Fraser Dogan's TED Talk. And I'll just play the video. I hope you enjoy it. And thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoyed my little speech. Sorry, I don't think I'm sharing the audio. I'll just quickly change that. One moment. I'll probably cut this out of the video. Maybe not. I don't know. Just wait. I can't. There it is. My bad. Right.
Do philosophy. Be part of it. Engage in it. Enjoy it. It's not some boat. Do philosophy. Be part of it. Engage in it. Enjoy it. It's not some boring thing that's on an old bookshelf in a library somewhere. It's something that we can live and something that we can do every day. And if we can teach it to our children and teach children to use it effectively, we're going to have a much stronger and a much more stable society.
That's it. Thank you all for your attention, and I hope you have a great day.